Hi, good afternoon, everyone. This is CY once again. Thanks for joining me today. Today is the 26th of December, and it is a bit late, but I would like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, which is coming in 2023. We have many exciting plans which we are actually carrying out, and as many of you know, that we're actually opening an outlet, which is actually our cafe and roastery. And now it is under renovation. I hope I can bring you guys to see the shop very soon. Probably in the next few videos, I will probably do a video on trying to introduce our cafe to you. But of course, the cafe is located in Singapore. So if you are not in Singapore, we welcome you. If you have a chance to visit us in Singapore, right, do come and visit us at our cafe, which I will announce it slightly later, right? Today, I'm going to do a little bit of corrections on the previous video which I made on the DF64E, the electronic dosing version, right? In the previous video, I mentioned that there's only one declumper, okay, let me show you what actually happens, right? So as you can see, basically when you open the top bellow, right, you can see inside is full of coffee ground. It is a little bit hard to get rid of this, so I think this is actually inherent from all the DF64 version, right? Whether it's the DF64 or DF64E or F, I think they will all have this issue of coffee ground thread around the funnel area. But this can be easily cleaned out by just simply getting a brush, and then you brush it inside, right? Then after that, you connect the power to the grinder, then you just bellow out. So let me just clean out this grinder. Right, so the main power is switch on. Let me get the dosing cup. Right, you can see that our currently is empty. Switch on the grinder. Right, this is actually the amount of coffee ground that actually stuck right at the funnel area, right? So this, if you want, you can do a maintenance, which can be done easily, right? And the main thing I want to go through today is actually not the funnel area. So let me first unlock the top burr carrier, right? In order for you to take out the electronic dosing module, right, you will need to unscrew the top two Allen. Use an Allen key to actually remove the two screws that holds the top burr carrier to the main chassis. Okay, put the screws aside. Remove the top burr. Right, this is actually the DLC burr. So let me just do a quick cleaning. Right, still very new, right? Even though we have been using this grinder for about a month now. Right, and inside the grinder, let me show you, right? This is the condition of the grinder, right? I haven't been cleaning this since the last time I opened this. So you can see that the inside is actually pretty clean, right? And in my previous video, trying to clean out this, I realized that the declumper is 2 layers and not 1 layer. And the reason why I discovered this is because when I just installed 1 layer of declumper, right? Let me take out these two screws and show you what I mean. Of course, before you do any of this, make sure the power is switched off. There are two screws that actually secure the electronic dosing unit to the main body. Right, and there's one more screw at the bottom. Right, and the whole thing just came out. Right, and of course, there's a cable that's actually at the back. You can just unplug this cable. Just be gentle. Just pull it out. Right, and the entire electronic display unit is out. So this you can put aside safely. Right, you can see the amount of coffee ground that's stuck underneath, but this all can be cleaned up easily with a brush. Not a major issue, right? Okay, so now behind this exit chute, let me bring my camera closer. Right at this area, you can see that the exit chute is actually secured by two screws. So again, I have to remove these two screws. So let me move my camera slightly aside. And there's one downside about this DF64E, which is actually the fact that the motor area is actually not blocked out from the main chamber, right? So you can see that once I remove this, I have to be careful because there's a chance that the Declumper can actually drop inside there. So I can see I'm actually putting my finger underneath. This is to prevent the Declumper from dropping in. And the moment I take it out, you can see that there are two layers of Declumper. Right, you can see that there's a lot of coffee because they are using two layers, so the coffee tends to trap quite a bit. This layer of coffee can be cleaned out easily, right? I think they are there because of moisture buildup, so this can be cleaned out really easily. Just do a brush, right? I'm just going to do a quick one to show you what are the declumper that's inside there. Right, so this is one of them. This is the other one. Okay, so let me just take a chance to clean out. You can see the grinder is now in a mess. All right, so right now you can see that it actually comes with the same thing, right, which is two layer of declumper. And the reason why I found out that I have a missing one is because that this is the one that I found, and this is the one that dropped inside, right? Even though it dropped inside, you can actually turn the grinder upside down, and this will drop out easily. So even if this drop inside the the empty spaces between the motor and the body, right, you can still actually get it out. Just that I do not know why, right, they leave a gap there, right? So I believe that maybe they do not want to send the vibration to the entire body, right? So therefore they didn't seal off the section there, right? So you can see that there are two layers of declumper. And yep, to finish up my story, right? In my previous video, I only saw this, right? So this is the one that actually dropped inside. And the reason why I discovered is because when I install just one of these layer, right, the grinder just doesn't work properly, right? It will just choke all the way. So I'm not sure what's the reason why with one single layer it actually causes choking. But the moment I install the second layer on top of the first one, right, it works flawlessly, right? The grinder no longer choke, and it just and you can see that you have to make sure that you align the two declumper nicely, right? Make sure that they're aligned. Otherwise, it's going to give you problem clogging your entire grinder, right? It will clog almost immediately, right? Within first or second grind, you will find that your grinder will entirely be choked. So make sure that you have these two. If you are cleaning your grinder, make sure that you install these two declumper back, right? Okay, let me bring you closer to the chute area. Right, so now you can see that the chute, right, there's not much clumping at the area there, right? Of course, there's a little bit of build up. So again, you can see that to clean this grinder is a little bit difficult because if I dust this using a brush, the coffee ground is going to drop inside there. So this is I think this is the shortcoming about this grinder, right? So in order for me to clean, I have to use something like something to support the bottom so that the coffee will not drop inside the grinder. Right, so let me get a piece of paper. Okay, I couldn't find a paper nearby, so let me just grab my vacuum cleaner. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to vacuum out the area there. Right, so that's the first thing that I want to talk about today, which is actually the 2 layers declumper. So now let me show you the exit chute. Okay, let me switch on the lighting. Okay, now there's better lighting here. So now you can see that the internal chute area is actually quite a bit of cloggage. And the reason I believe is because you can see that this cross-section area is actually quite big. But the moment when you enter the chute, you can see that the chute is getting more and more narrow. Let me show you the profile. You can see this chute here. Right, it's getting smaller and smaller. Right. Okay, so if your grinder is not, the coffee ground doesn't come out smoothly, right? You may have to clean out this area, or maybe if you realize that the retention is a bit high, so this could be the area whereby it actually kicks up all the coffee. So let me get a brush, and then I have a skewer around here. I'll probably use a skewer and then try to remove all the coffee ground, right? So you can see how much coffee actually comes out from there. And see, yeah, it's quite a lot of coffee there. Okay, so if you look at the chute internal chute area, right, there's still a bit of a coffee, but I think that's the best I can do. Of course, I can get a brush to push all the coffee ground out, right? But I think this will do for today. And now I'm going to install back this exit chute and install the declumper back properly. Right, so always remember, right, this one is facing inside and this one is facing outside, right? So this should be the way that the declumper works and the order, right? And of course, push out the screws so that it holds the declumper, right? Right, push out the screws. Okay, make sure the order is correct again. Yep. Okay, so this is the correct order. Now I'm going to put this to go within the screw, and then I'm going to tilt it slightly, right, holding on to the declumper because it may drop out. So now this is a bit more finicky when you try to install it back. You can see that my finger is actually okay. You can see that the declumper is actually dropping out. So this is what I mean by it's a little bit hard to install, right? Okay, so let's do it the other way. So instead, I'm going to put this declumper back. I can see that there are two screw holes there. So I'm just going to push it there. And then I'm going to push my exit chute. And with the screw secured, then it will not drop down. Right, get your screwdriver ready so that you can immediately secure it. Okay, just make sure that it's finger tight and not over tighten. Do not over tighten this. Okay, so that's tight enough. All right. Okay, so now you can see that the chute has been installed back. Okay, let me see this. This is slightly weird. Okay, so I think let me just check whether everything is okay. Okay, this is good. Right, this is good too. Okay, I'm actually trying to check out whether the declumper is aligned properly. Right, so I'm not too sure whether the camera is able to catch up. Right. Okay, so right now I'm going to install back the electronic dosing screen. Right before that, again, let's try to clean out this area. So installation is actually pretty easy. Plug back the original plug first to the back, put it back to the original position. Right. Once you hear the click, it's fine. Right. Secure the screw at the bottom first. Okay. So again, don't have to over tighten this. And now we can try to um, screw back the top. Let me just bring out my camera a little bit to give you a better view. Okay, so there are two screws here which we need to screw it back. Make sure that you hold this electronic dosing screen close to the body. Okay. Okay, so right now the electronic dosing is actually the screen is actually installed back, and now we will need to install the top capper carrier back. So again, there's two indentation here, right? Make sure they align properly, right? And I'm gonna screw back the top two screw here. I will screw in all the way, but without tightening anything, right? And I'll make sure that both sides is slightly tightened, right? And then I will tighten it. Okay, so basically, it is not too difficult to service the grinder, right? If you want to clean out everything, just be careful that the declumper may actually drop into the body. So that's something that you need to take care, right? So right now, I'm going to try to switch on the grinder and grind some coffee and do a test. Okay, so the grinder is switched on. Right, let me install the top hopper. Okay, let me bring my my, my bin vault. And these are those at 17 gram each. So let me just do a quick test. By the way, this bin seller is actually designed by my good friend Mr. Thomas, right? And the body are 3D printed, right? But if you look at how well this is made, there's actually a one-way valve, and this is actually a seal, and you can see that the glass is not touching the 3D printed parts. It actually push right in. I mean, the glass will actually glide against the 3D printed part, but then you can see that it creates a vacuum seal, right? I'm not able to pull out just like that. I have to actually push it with a more force, then the whole thing can pop out. So your beans can actually stay fresh, right? Even in a test tube because of the one-way valve, right? So, Mr. Thomas, this is really well done, right? I really like it. Right, so right now let's measure out the coffee ground. Because we already cleaned out the grinder, so definitely there's going to be some retention. So let's see how many grams is actually being retained. But before that, let's measure out the coffee. Okay, now it's 0. Right, that's 16.9 grams. So right now I'm going to dose inside the grinder. Oh, I dropped 2 beans. Let me take out the beans. Alright, so now let's grind. I'm going to use manual mode. Okay, there's still some beans grinding. Okay, normal sound. So you can see it takes about 40 seconds. And let's do a quick measurement. Okay, you can see that we are getting about 16.3 gram back, which means there's about 0.7 grams of retention. Right, so this is the first dose. So let us try to grind one more time. Right, let's bellow out, make sure everything is being bellowed out. Okay, let's measure again. Yep, 16.4. That's about 0.6 gram to 0.5 grams of retention. Right, so let's dose again. Right, get another test tube. Again, we have pre-measured these to about 17 gram. Oh, that's about 17.2. Right, if you can read on the screen there. So again, let me bring you closer. Right, that's 17.2 grams there. Okay, let's try to load the beans and then we grind again. So about 30 seconds to grind about 17 gram of coffee bean. Okay, so now let me bring you closer again. You can see that now is 17 grams, 17.1 to 17.0. So the retention has been dropped from 0.5 to about 0.2. Right, so that's pretty much you can actually get you can actually improve it if you do a third grind. But I think this has been shown that if you install the declumper back correctly, right, there shouldn't be any cloggage. Of course, you have to make sure that you bellow every time, right, so that all the coffee get bellow out. As you can see from the side profile that I show you from the chute is getting smaller and smaller. So if you don't bellow out your coffee, eventually the big chunk of coffee that's kicked up inside the chute may actually block the exit chute, and then this will clog up your entire grinder. So it is very important you purge your grinder every time, right? I will do a test with a hopper on and see whether there's actually any cloggage. Whether the hopper when it's installed will create any cloggage, right? But at the moment, if you are using it for single dosing, right, the bellow should be able to purge out most of the coffee effectively. The retention is about within 0.2 grams. And you can see that the static issue on this grinder at my current workshop is pretty bad because this is an air-conditioned workshop. So you can see that the static is actually everywhere, right? The static actually extract the fine coffee powder. And I'm quite sure the RDT will actually help to solve some of this, right? Which I will try to do another video showing you the improvement of RDT, right? I personally do not like to use the squirt bottle, right? Because I believe this introduced a little bit too much water, right? I prefer to use the chopstick method, whereby you just use your chopstick, dip with a little bit of water, right? Shake off the water and then you stir. You do it for about 3 times, and that will actually remove the static quite effectively, right? I've done that with my DF64. It seems to work pretty fine. So now let me clean up the grinder with a vacuum, right? Again, because I'm using a vacuum, if I'm not careful, I can actually touch the grind adjustment dial at the bottom, right? I can actually accidentally hit it. So yeah, I'm not too sure whether this is actually a better position to put the grind adjustment, but I mean it's already better than the top, because if you use the top, the adjustment is actually controlled by the 3 spring, as you have seen from DF64. So that's actually not ideal, right? And I believe this is a lot cleaner when it comes to servicing your grinder, because you just have 2 screws to open up. You don't have to worry about any cross threading of the grind adjustment ring to the main body, right? So this is Seah once again. Thanks for joining me today. Today's the video. What I'm trying to achieve in the video is to show you that I've made some error in my previous video. I actually missed out the declumper that actually dropped inside. So this grinder DF64E, just like the DF64 version 4, actually comes with 2 layers of declumper. But for this grinder, you need the 2 layer of declumper to work properly, right? I will come up with my own version to see whether it will actually works better than the stock version with 2 layers, right? So that will come slightly later. So for now, that's all for me for today. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I hope today's video audio quality is slightly better, because I've changed my mic. I upgraded my mic to a slightly better one. I hope this will give you a better audio quality. And this is CY once again. Thanks for joining me. All right. Um, Stay tuned for more videos. Right, I've been really busy. I have to apologize for not producing enough videos, but I'll try to do more, right, whenever I have the time. So right, thank you for joining me. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.